Built to amend Sarawak Land Code. New MySejahtera feature, Yilamaran bags Malaysia first medal in Deaflympics debut. Those are the headlines for tonight. I'm Lorenzo Isaac and this is TVS Nightline. The Sarawak government is expected to table a bill to amend the Sarawak Land Code in the coming State Assembly sitting. As such, the Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, said the State Cabinet has agreed in principle on the amendment to the Land Code.
Kita ada pindaan yang kita akan buat dengan undang-undang tanah. Dan ketika ini saya belum lagi dapat mengumumkan. Pada dasarnya pihak Kabinet telah bersetuju untuk dibawa kepada Dewan Undangan Negeri dan ini akan memantapkan lagi hak kita dari beberapa sudut. Dan biarlah kita tengoklah apabila dun bersidang.
Meanwhile, Head of State His Excellency Tun Pehin Sri Abdul Taib Mahmud will officiate the 8-day Dun sitting from May 17 to May 26. In conjunction with the second day of Hari Raya AIDILFITRI 2022, the Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, organised an open house at one of the top hotels in Kuching. The Premier was in awe as he witnessed the great interracial harmony between the people of Sarawak while celebrating this festive season.
Additionally, he described this celebration as the beginning of normality after 2 years of the pandemic.
Tetapi saya ingin hendak memesankan walaupun keadaan dah baik, kita jagalah kendiri keselamatan kita masing-masing, kesihatan kita masing-masing supaya kita dalam keadaan yang baik dan terus meneruskan penghidupan kita. Hari ini saya menerima semua lapisan masyarakat dan mereka telah menyatakan kegembiraan mereka dengan apa yang sedang dilaksanakan oleh pihak kita, pihak kerajaan dan juga secara peribadi apa yang telah kita sama-sama jalankan dalam proses kita pemulihan yang sedang berlaku ketika ini.
Meanwhile, he thanked all the guests who came to visit the open house. The AIDILFITRI Open House, hosted by Premier of Sarawak Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg and wife Puan Sri Jumaani Tuanku Bujang today, was attended by thousands of guests from various backgrounds. Visitors noted that the open house was a good start to being able to live a normal life.
Rasa gembira loh boleh bawa keluarga keluar untuk merayakan perayaan ini. Kerana selama 2 tahun tidak ada rasa macam ini untuk merayakan sama-sama dengan kaum-kaum lain dan rakyat Sarawak lah. Ya memang setiap tahun memang menjelahi sama raya.
Meanwhile, Elsie Laweng from Surian said she visited the open house because she wanted her children to experience the joy of the Hari Raya celebration.
Sebab sudah 2 tahun tak beraya bersama kawan-kawan, keluarga mana yang jauh tu dah boleh balik kan. Saya pun rasa sebab tengok suasana kat sini sangat-sangat meriah bersama-sama kawan. Tengok kaum-kaum Melayu pun ramai juga. It's okay lah, saya rasa sangat happy dan rasa sebab tu masih ada kan. Sebab 2 tahun kita berkurung, tak beraya bersama kawan-kawan. Anak-anak pun saya tengok happy bersama kawan-kawan ikut beraya kan. Itulah saya rasa sangat gembira.
Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, believes that the projects in Sarawak which were stopped due to COVID-19 will be able to resume as soon as possible, as the country has entered the endemic phase where sectors will be no longer burdened by the strict standard operating procedure SOPs.
Saya yakin bahawa selepas ini ekonomi kita akan berkembang dan juga kegiatan ekonomi kita akan terus berjalan lancar. Kita ada beberapa projek yang agak terkendala disebabkan oleh COVID-19 dan saya betul-betul yakin bahawa pemulihan akan berlaku dengan cepat.
On April 6, the Deputy Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Amar Douglas Uga Umbas, expresses disappointment with the progress of the Kuching-Samarahan Coastal Link Road project. The 485 million ringgit state government-funded project comprises of 3 packages. The first package consists of constructing a 4-lane bridge across the Sarawak River costing 365.7 million ringgit. The second consists of the upgrading of the 7.5-kilometer Kampung Tanjung Bako Road costing 37.4 million ringgit. Lastly, the construction of a new 7-kilometer road from Kampung Tanjung Bako to Batang Samarahan Bridge costing 81.84 million ringgit. The project is scheduled to be completed by March 2025 as Sarawak returns to normality.
A total of 2 million ringgit was allocated for the upgrade of the Hailong Shi Temple by the Unit for Other Religions Unifor. Transport Minister Datuk Sri Lee Kim Shin said the upgrading works were carried out in conjunction with the upcoming international celebration that will be held in 2024.
Adding further, he said that an allocation of 500,000 ringgit last year has been fully utilized and completed.
Separuh daripada rancangan ini untuk baik pulih dan mempertingkatkan tokong Samsut Lungkung di Miri ini telah siap dan pagi ini kita juga mempunyai pengarah daripada Unifor, Saudara Richard Rom, untuk datang memeriksa kerja fasa 1 yang tampaknya kebanyakannya telah siap. Dan Kerajaan Sarawak melalui Unifor telah memberi peruntukan sebanyak 500,000 untuk baik pulih dan untuk kerja-kerja penambahan untuk tokong ini. Dan tokong ini adalah salah satu tokong yang besar. Tokong ini masih belum siap lagi naik taraf tokong ini dan mereka saya difahamkan telah pun memohon peruntukan tambahan sebanyak lebih RM1 juta untuk mempertingkatkan tokong ini.
In addition, the upcoming celebration is one of the biggest tourist attractions in Miri City.
Itu adalah satu perayaan sedunia yang berhubung dengan tokong-tokong datang ke Miri. Ini akan menjadi satu tarikan juga dari segi pelancongan dan juga satu promosi juga untuk Bandaraya Miri ini. Jadi kita akan mempunyai pelbagai wakil tokong dari pelbagai negara yang akan datang dijemput hadir bersama sempena dengan perayaan tokong Samsut Lungkung di Miri di sini.
Also present during the work visit were Puget Assemblyman and Miri City Mayor Adam Yee Siu Sang and Deputy Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts and Piasau Assemblyman.
Only 2 telecommunication companies, namely Telekom Malaysia Berhad TM and YTL Communications Sendirian Berhad, have signed an agreement to own an equity stake in Digital Nasional Berhad DNB for the implementation of the 5G network in the country so far. Communications and Multimedia Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa said that following this, it is hoped that other telcos will expedite moves to finalize an agreement with DNB before the June 30th closing date.
Ini bermakna kalau pada 30 hari bulan Jun, mana-mana syarikat masih tidak mengambil equity mereka, maka mereka akan ditinggalkan. Dan kita akan move on. Ya. Sebab tumpuan sekarang ini adalah untuk memastikan roll out sebenar berlaku.
Adding to that, he said it is expected that TM and YTL will launch 5G in 3 areas, namely Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and Cyberjaya, after the AIDILFITRI celebration. On March 16, the minister said that the issue of DNB monopoly in the implementation of the 5G network in the country does not arise, as the government will offer up to 70% of the equity stake to all telcos.
Coming up right after the break, analysts predicts U.S. inflation to soar soon. Met Gala returns after 2 years. Right here on TVS Nightline, stay tuned. Welcome back. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin announced that the MySejahtera application has been updated with a new feature to track hotspots of infectious diseases, including the hand, foot and mouth disease. Called the Infectious Disease Tracker, it allows users to see areas designated as hotspots of diseases apart from COVID-19, such as measles, rabies, hand, foot and mouth disease, and dengue fever. He also shared 2 screenshots of the updated app. Khairi had earlier said that the hotspot tracker feature previously used to track hotspots of COVID-19 cases would be changed into the infectious disease tracker. He said these hotspots would be determined based on the number of active cases of each infectious disease in the area of coverage of consumers. Meanwhile, Khairi advised the public to continue wearing a face mask in enclosed or crowded areas. National Deaf Karate exponent V. Lamaran bagged the country's first medal at the 24th Deaf Olympics in Caxias do Sul, Brazil on Tuesday morning. The 22-year-old settled for a silver medal after losing to Magno Alexandra of Ukraine in the finals of the men's kumite below 84 kilogram category. According to the Malaysian Deaf Sports Association (MS-Deaf), Lamaran had earlier defeated Brazilian Sergio Garcia in the first round, followed by Israel's Avi Bokler quarters final and Iran's Abdul Ghafour Ibrahim semi-finals. National contingent head Ong Shin Ruen, who was in Brazil to watch the final, said he was very proud of Yelamaran's achievement as the exponent was making his debut in the Deaflympics. In a post uploaded on the MS Deaf Facebook page, he said that with the historic achievement, the national deaf sports contingent had the opportunity to add to the medal tally through other sports such as badminton, cycling, and athletics. Last November, Yelamaran made history when he captured Malaysia's first medal, a bronze, at the inaugural World Deaf Karate Championships in Tehran, Iran. According to the official website, a total of 1,956 athletes from 70 countries are competing in the May 1 to 15 Deaflympics in Brazil. Meanwhile, Youth and Sports Minister Datuk Sri Ahmad Faizal Azumu congratulated Yelamaran on his achievement at the Deaflympics. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob is inviting all members of the Malaysian family to attend his Hari Raya Aidilfitri 2022 open house on Sunday, May 8. In a post on his Facebook today, Ismail Sabri said the event will be held at Laman Sari of the Seri Perdana Complex, Putrajaya from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
The Prime Minister's department in a Facebook post announced that all guests need to adhere to the latest standard operating procedure during the transition to the endemic phase, and they are encouraged to put on their face masks and practice physical distancing. Additionally, the posting also attached a poster guide on the dress code and free bus service information to the venue. Among the clothing allowed include attires with sleeves, long pants, and skirts below the knee. Meanwhile, for more information, the public can check out the JPM portal and social media sites.
Now on to some global affairs. U.S. analysts said consumer spending has increased to 1.1% in April, more than expected in March amid strong demands for services, whereas monthly inflation surged the most since 2005.
An economist said part of the rise in spending was due to higher prices.
We do expect to see inflation peaking soon if it hasn't already done so, but coming off the boil very slowly. And for that reason, we think the Federal Reserve, at least in the early rounds of this rate tightening, rate increase cycle, will be more aggressive, will be raising interest rates a half percentage point on May 4th.
Just last week, Deutsche Bank, a major investment bank, is forecasting a major recession in the U.S. by late 2023. In the report, the bank regarded the recession as much needed to bring down the soaring inflation.
We do expect to see the Federal Reserve continuing to raise interest rates, but it may be a bit more cautious, spreading those increases out a bit, certainly as we get into 2023, and more in quarter point rate.
According to the bank, the recession is due to three main factors, namely soaring inflation caused by the Russia-Ukraine conflict and lockdown in China, increased interest rates, and a strong job market in the U.S.
Australia's central bank on Tuesday raised its interest rates for the first time in more than a decade, as it wants more to come in its effort to curb soaring consumer prices. The Reserve Bank of Australia raised the main lending rate by 25 basis points to 0.35%, the first increase since November 2010.
The policy shift came after consumer price inflation spiked to a 20-year peak of 5.1% in the first quarter, led by the cost for petrol, housing, food, and education. House prices have been rising for years, even as wages have stagnated. Sydney and Melbourne are among the most expensive cities in the world to live. Australia's Reserve Bank said it was the right time to begin withdrawing extraordinary monetary support as inflation had picked up significantly and the economy was near full employment.
Also, we have no contemporary experience to guide us with how labour costs and prices in Australia will behave at an unemployment rate below 4%. It's also relevant that households have much more debt than previously, and many households have never experienced a rise in interest rates. So this is another aspect that we'll be watching very carefully over the months ahead. Notwithstanding these uncertainties, I expect that further increases in interest rates will be necessary over the months ahead.
The move comes just weeks before a May 21st election, and which could spell trouble for Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who is fighting a tough election campaign that could see him out of office on May 21st. Australia's vast resource world has for decades provided insulation from global financial headwinds and underpinned high standards of living. But there are growing concerns that the country's run of good fortune may be coming to an end. In early 2020, the economy fell into recession for the first time in almost 3 decades, largely because of devastating bushfire and the start of COVID-19 pandemic.
Fashion's biggest night, the Met Gala, returned this year on its traditional date, the first Monday in May, for the first time since 2019. With the theme Gilded Glamour, it draws A-list celebrities from across the globe to the steps of New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art.
New York City Commissioner Laurie Cumbo and Bobby DiGiolissa said yes not only to fashion's biggest night, but to forever with one another. As the couple walked down the red carpet, Olissa got down on one knee and popped the question as eyewitnesses cheered. Following the touching moment, the couple shared a kiss before embracing in a long hug.
You know, we've been talking about getting married. We've been together for some time. And you know, it's always like trying to wait for the right time. So when is the right time, considering everything that's going on worldwide? So it's just like today, we're going to make it happen, you know?
A parade of stars celebrated American fashion and Gilded Age glamour at the annual Met Gala on Monday, May 2nd. Known for celebrities in over-the-top outfits, the so-called Oscars of the East Coast returned on its traditional date of the first Monday in May, just 8 months after 2021's pandemic-delayed event in September. This year's A-list guests were told to dress in gilded glamour for the annual fundraiser for New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art. The invitation-only Met Gala marks the opening of the annual fashion exhibition at the museum's Costume Institute. This year's exhibit, In America, an Anthology of Fashion, caps a 2-part exhibition and focuses on the history of American dresses.
I think tonight is a bit more special because I'm here with Prabal and Philip Lim, so it's really about the fashion tonight.
And how many dresses did you go through?
Well, Prabal made this specially for me because we're working on American Born Chinese with Disney Plus, and so he's been designing my costumes, some of my costumes. So we thought this would be a perfect fit to come to the Met Gala.
That's all the time we have for the Nightline. We end TVS Nightline with a few Hari Raya greetings from TVS staff. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching.
Hai, aku Odlin Katrani. Selamat nyambut Onu Ayuh Raya Aidilfitri tuduk sok ingan de nyambut.
Saya Iman Fizan dan saya ingin mengucapkan selamat Hari Raya kepada umat Islam yang menyambut pada tahun ini dan saya berharap anda ceria-ceria selalu dan kosong-kosong.
Selamat Hari Raya kepada semua umat Islam yang menyambut Hari Raya Aidilfitri pada tahun ini. Semoga Hari Raya tahun ini memberi senaran kepada anda semua.
Gemersik takbir mengundang hibah. Salam diutus tanda ingatan. 1 Syawal telah pun tiba. Salam diutus pohon kemaafan. Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri buat semua. Raya-raya juga, duit raya ibuh lupa.
Hai, saya Justin Jarob dan saya ingin mengucapkan selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Maaf zahir dan batin.
Okay, selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Maaf zahir dan batin. Saya ucapkan kepada mereka yang mengenali diri saya dan sentiasalah beringat walaupun telah diberikan kelonggaran untuk menyambut Raya Aidilfitri.
Hello， 你好，我是 Brian 李斌。祝福所有穆斯林同胞朋友们开斋节快乐，也希望所有穆斯林同胞还有各族的人民在这沙捞越的土地上继续和乐融融、和平的共处。
Hai, saya Sharon. Saya ingin mengucapkan selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri kepada semua umat Islam di Malaysia.
Kami Keong dari BG mengucapkan selamat Hari Raya maaf zahir batin kepada semua kita orang yang bercuti raya ya.
Saya selamat Prame Doraya Men Itam Lim dan Mendahap Panak-Panak Tam alang sambut Raya Duman Ani. Maaf zahir dan batin.
Hai, kami Izan dari video editor News and Current Affairs.
Hai, kami Mike sama juga dalam video editor.
Kami doa yang ingin mengucapkan selamat Hari Raya
Aidilfitri bagi semua yang menyambut.
Hai, aku Rick Wonder. Engkau peluang tu aku dekat beri selamat ngintu Hari Raya Aidilfitri seluruhan nyaga pengerai diri sepanjang pengeram itu.
Saya Ahmad Abdullah bin Syur'i dari berita TVS mengucapkan selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri kepada seluruh rakyat Malaysia terutamanya di Kuching, Sarawak.
Hi, my name is Moika Shimizu from TVS, and to all our Muslim friends out there, we would like to wish you a Selamat Hari Raya.
Hai, saya James Deva. Saya ingin mengucapkan selamat Hari Raya kepada semua.
Hello there, I'm Nick. I am visiting TVS today and I would just like to say for all those celebrating, Selamat Hari Raya.
Hi, I'm Esther. Wishing all our Muslim friends Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri.
Hi to everyone celebrating. I would like to wish Selamat Hari Raya to all of you and maaf zahir dan batin.
Selamat Raya Aidilfitri kepada semua yang menyambut.
Hai, saya Adrian Adam. Saya ingin mengucapkan Selamat Hari Raya kepada semua rakan-rakan Muslim saya. Selamat Raya.
Hai, aku Jessica Chung. Selamat ngintu pengerami Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Seruran jaga pengerai diri serta berjaga meh bak jala yalun.
Hai, saya Roy. Saya ingin mengucapkan selamat Hari Raya kepada semua rakan Muslim saya. Selamat Hari Raya.
I'm Lorenzo from the English Desk. Di sini saya ingin mengambil kesempatan untuk mengucapkan Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri 2022. Maaf zahir dan batin.
Hai, nama saya Mama Rafiq. Saya ingin mengucapkan selamat Hari Raya maaf zahir dan batin untuk semua umat Islam.
Hello， 大家好，我是明慧。祝穆斯林同胞们欢庆开斋节快乐，然后大家都可以快快乐乐的过节。
Assalamualaikum. Dengan kesempatan ini saya ingin mengucapkan selamat Hari Raya maaf zahir dan batin.
Assalamualaikum. Kami mewakili seluruh warga TVS dan broadcasting team ingin mengucapkan selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Maaf zahir dan batin.